What's going on? Welcome back to the channel. So today we're going to talk to you about Lucid. I want to go over some expectations for this upcoming week, what might cause some volatility in the stock price, and go over everything else you need to know. But first, make sure to hit that thumbs up. And with that, let's get right to it. Starting off with data points. A lot coming out this week. So you have a lot of Fed speakers, one of which is Powell first thing. You also have manufacturing data coming out on Tuesday. Forecast right now is 47.2. So like I've mentioned in the past, in theory, it is below 50. So showing more of a contraction within the broader market. So that's going to be one to really watch for. Couple consumer linked data points. One is on Wednesday, so that is employment. Then you also have payroll coming out on Friday and the dreaded unemployment rate. And so far the forecast is 4.2, and then obviously the initial jobless claim. So everything that I mentioned has the ability to really move the broader market and as well move this right here. And this has been pretty much one of the biggest things behind the scenes to really affect growth stocks in the whole EV sector, and that is likelihood of a future rate cut. So right now for the November 7th meeting, you do have a 53.3% likelihood of a 50 basis point cut. So if good data does come out, so unemployment, let's say, is a little bit lower than anticipated, possibly, then yeah, you could see a confirmed 50 basis point cut and it kind of getting priced into the market this week. So something to keep in mind. Going into this upcoming week, though, the fear and greed index is under the greed category, meaning people's appetite for risk is there. Monday, which is September the 30th, is the last day in Q3, so you'll probably see a abnormal amount of volume as institutions do rebalance their portfolios and stuff like that. A couple articles started to already surface saying that Lucid is going to be announcing their numbers this week. I wanted to kind of go on and say historically that's not really accurate, and again, I would love to say yes, that is happening, but most likely not, because Lucid does like to submit their numbers roughly around a week to maybe like a week and a half out. So looking for Q2, it was announced on July the 8th, so just over a week slightly. Q1 was on April the 9th, so similarly just over a week, and a Q4 was January 11th, so a week and a half. And then Q3, I think they were really abnormally behind. They did it around 2.5 weeks. So it is fair to assume it won't be this week, most likely next week. They announced their Q3 production and delivery numbers and the date of their actual earnings. So we'll just have to wait and see. I'll do a dedicated video closer to that kind of time frame, just on some expectations. But Lucid, based on their website, looks like they are going to be participating at the Orange County Auto Show and just having their prototypes still on show. And so yeah, I think in general that is good. One thing as well that probably will be coming out this month, this is just more of a hinkling, and that is Gravity. So Gravity, Lucid likes to unveil big things in October. So their very first unveil was, I believe, on October 31st, 2021, big launch. And then aside from that, though, they had the Sapphire. I think initially it was supposed to be in September. It did get pushed to kind of the first week in October. So October seems to be a pretty big thing, right? Kind of matches with the ramping up in Q4 and everything. So maybe we might be finding out within the next 2 weeks about the Gravity. And I feel like I've been talking about the Gravity for a good year and a bit now, just saying that this is the next big thing for Lucid, and it is so close to being here. And yeah, assuming the price point and there's no real red flags, I could see that being a very big catalyst to really propel it higher and potentially even cause some shorts, some distress. So on Friday, shorts did increase 333,000 shares. 30.19% of the free float is being shorted, works out to be 270.65 million shares overall are being shorted. Cost of borrow average is 6.68%. So like I've kind of brought up in the past, shorts generally are just very overextended with Lucid. So with a lot of the data points this upcoming week, if positive, then you could see shorts just feeling a little bit more of a pinch and hopefully returning some shares, not really doubling down. Again, we'll just have to wait and see, but who knows? It's a fun ride. It does have a lot of manipulation. I think just a lot of Lucid investors are kind of used to it by now. But one thing that I have been kind of bringing up back and forth over the last month and a half is this right here. So of course, we're sitting at record numbers. I think it's at like let's double check, $6.42 trillion. Just money sitting in money markets right now. And so if data this upcoming week comes out better than anticipated and kind of does validate that there's going to be a 50 basis point cut for the November and then maybe even a 25 for December, that might be enough positivity for the huge amount of money that's sitting on the sidelines to re-enter into the equity market. So of course, that would cause a big market rotation, and in theory, with a lot of capital coming in, stocks generally would go up, similar to what happened between 2020 and 2021. I brought this up. I think it is just a matter of time. I'm going to just briefly bring it up. It won't be actually this week in particular that you see a huge run up in stocks, but it will be gradual over a year. But with a lot of data points that is coming out this week, such as unemployment and many others, that could set the trajectory for this to happen. So again, hopefully that makes sense a little bit. But looking at options with it closing at $3.61, I think that's, or $3.59 on Friday. It did obviously above that 350. So essentially 4,000 at that 350 strike price. And actually, sorry, open interest right here. So 10,000 at that 350 strike price, and then 397. So nothing really crazy is going to come from that. I think that there was a lot of abnormal transactions that did occur after hours on Friday, as you can kind of see right here. So essentially, I think some market makers were already covering, but you might see a minor bump up in the stock price come Monday. For this upcoming week, so the October 4th chain is relatively quiet. So in theory, you're not going to see that level of manipulation coming from shorts. So if Lucid comes out with a good piece of news, in theory, it can go up. Of course, dependent on support and resistance points. So right now with it at $3.59, it is trading between this S1 and the pivot. So $3.63 is that next strong resistance / target. And then 343 is the strong support. On a side note, I'm looking at the 4-hour chart as well. So just kind of take note of some of the strong support and resistance points. Generally, Lucid has bounced off of this area, so this R3, so that $4.16 range, so 420. It does have a quick spike up, but usually settles right below that. So hopefully this round, Lucid does have enough momentum for it to finally push higher and break above kind of this crap that it always struggles with. But more importantly, come Monday, it stays above that 50-day moving average. So on Friday was the very first day it was able to kind of break off of that, not touch it whatsoever. And we already do know generally what that means for Lucid. Every time it does and is able to get above that 50-day moving average, usually results in like a 20% run up at least. So hopefully that does come. We'll just have to wait and see on Monday. But Stochastic is very oversold. So if they do put out a good piece of news, then you could see a nice run up. I was very surprised. Lucid normally has in the past done a lot of PR. And they just opened up a Frankfurt studio, and there's a lot of demand there. I feel like Lucid could have really capitalized on that and put out like a piece of news or something. I believe, actually, I don't think they even did a tweet or on social media about that. So that's something they've been somewhat lagging in a little bit. So hopefully whoever's doing their marketing isn't on vacation or something like that. But aside from that, again, if they do put out a good piece of news, you could see a rush of institutions buying Lucid. And a number of retail investors have been buying Lucid as well. So let me know your thoughts on that. What is your price prediction for this upcoming week? Oddly, for a lot of the data points that is coming out, even though it could result in a lot of volatility, I'm generally optimistic about Lucid, even though analysts aren't really. Looking at Lucid's earnings, there has been 6 negative revisions to the earnings per share over the last 90 days. So analysts are a little bit bearish on Lucid, but with this data that is coming out this week, I feel that it will actually be able to push it to around that $4 range at the very least. Again, depending on the data, if the data is negative, then yeah, you could see a full breakdown below that 50-day moving average, and then that won't necessarily be all the best. But regardless, let me know your thoughts on Lucid. Hopefully everyone's having an amazing weekend thus far. What's your thoughts? Don't forget to hit that thumbs up. And actually, one final thing, if you guys were to put a date, when do you think the Gravity is going to be unveiled? I'm thinking October. Let's see, let's pull up the calendar. October, I'm putting, let's say the 25th. 25th to, yeah, the week of the 21st to the 25th. I have a weird feeling it will be there. But, so we'll find out. Maybe we can do some like little raffle or something if someone's right. So don't forget to hit that thumbs up and subscribe. Take advantage of this promo. On a side note, it does give you 5 free stocks, a couple days left as well, and each stock is valued up to $2,000. So make sure you guys definitely take advantage of that. With all that said, appreciate all of you guys watching.